Yep. Yep. There it is. Yep. There we go. Oh, it's a nice one too. The Flathead Classic's only a couple of weeks away now, so I thought I'd take you through my favourite flathead lures in case you're looking at getting stocked up for the tournament, or you're just looking to enjoy the best flathead fishing of the year, which is around this August-September time for me. I'll take you through my favourites. We'll start with the big stuff. So these glide baits have become really popular, and this Real IU 178F is just brilliant. Its weighting is fantastic. It's a floating glide bait, which I'll use on really shallow water. And these things are just deadly. This Slapsticks 9-inch Lumo, it's a Silstar Slapsticks lure, and these things rigged weedless with a little stinger down the back there, so a weedless worm hook up the front. These things are just deadly and have really quickly become one of my favourite plastics to go after big flathead with. You can also use big things like eel imitations when there's weed beds around. Big flathead love these eels in around the weeds, so this is like a 30 centimetre eel that I just got off eBay. But Gulp make one as well, a bit shorter one, like a 10-inch. It's got a smaller profile, so they come with that scent, and these ones are a lot softer. They're just a smaller profile, but they're fantastic as well. Some of the prawn imitations that I really like, these swim prawns, these new swim prawns from Holt Productions. James Holt is just a beast with lures, and this is his own design. These things are deadly. If you're looking to throw plastics around as a little prawn imitation, then you need to get your hands on these. He's got some, like these are great in the really clear water, and then he's got some darker ones for discoloured low tide mud flats and stuff like that. But the little these legs, I've got to do a review on these, but these legs are just fantastic, like unbelievable in the water, and probably the closest representation of a shrimp I've seen, which is a big call because the shrimp imitations have been coming thick and fast for years now, but these swim prawns are amazing. So the other little prawn imitations that I've got are these Rio's prawns. So if you're land-based fishing, or you've got your kids getting into the competition, or just chasing flathead on the flats, if you can get your hands on one of these little Rio's prawns, they're very easy to cast, really easy to retrieve, and they're a great lure for starting out flathead fishing. They're fairly hard to find now though. These little shrimp, these 50 MRs by Savage Gear, are a really cheap option. They're only $5 at the moment at BCF, and I know that Brendan Knight's been doing amazing floody numbers on these things recently. So there's some shrimp and prawn imitations. If you're using little minnows and wanting to troll little minnows, then the Lively Lure micro mullets, they're my favourite, mainly because they've got the runs on the board over the years with David Green fishing these things like a boss, and he's been catching just, you know, hundreds of flathead on these things, and he's won tournaments with them. So these are great on the troll. And there's some other things like this little Pontoon 21 Crackjack. It's a 48 SP, I think it is. Yeah, so that's great as well, and you can see I've got the darker colour in that. And the Xeric Tango Shad, I like the 50mm floating version for trolling. So these are fantastic if you're trolling and you're using like a floating retrieve. So you troll along, drag it along the bottom, and then drop your rod tip and let the lure float back up. I caught a fair few flathead in my last Kayaker's Guide DVD using that exact technique with these lures. I like this also, this little shimmering sort of like a bait fish design with that internal foil flash there. That's great if the water's fairly clear. Those darker ones are good in stained water. And I can't go past these either, and this is on the back of Carl's page, Carl Attenborough's page, Sand Flat Fishing Australia. He's a huge fan of these Daiwa double clutches, and they come in a range of sizes and colours now, and the new colours are just brilliant. I've been using these for years, and they've caught me a fair few flathead and a couple of mangrove jack as well, but he's made these things just famous for big flathead. So the Daiwa double clutches, they've got a weight transfer casting system in them, so you can fish them even if it's a little bit windy and you're throwing around flats. A tiny little profile, these things are fantastic. The other one that I haven't got with me is a tournament spike, a Daiwa tournament spike, and that accounts for a lot of flathead for me as well. So on the troll especially, often that'll outfish a lot of other lures that I'm trolling. So there's some options for you if you're looking to load up before the Flathead Classic, or if you're just wanting to get into your flathead fishing. There's a lot of lures there as options. I would start small with minnows to get my numbers up if I was just getting into it, and then these bigger glide baits and huge plastics, they're a lot of fun once you get your flathead game going, and they account for some really big fish. So if you're going after flathead over the next few weeks, good luck out on the water. If you haven't seen my reviews on some of these lures, then go through some of my old reviews. I've reviewed a lot of these things, the double clutches, the tournament spikes, Rio's prawns, the Tango shads and the crackjack 48s. They've all been reviewed, and they've got tips on how to retrieve them and how to use them to get big numbers of flathead. So make sure you check those out, and I'll talk to you soon.